Hello, hello. This is Yuri with Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Daniel Iordan with Movers Chicago. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Yuri. How are you?
Good, good, good. Thank you very much for joining me. So, with over 10 years in the moving industry, running about 30 trucks today, it's great to hear from somebody that's obviously doing well with 30 trucks. That's great. What brought you to the moving industry?
Unfortunate series of events. No, I was a student, and I found I was working in construction, and in 2008, 2009, when the downturn took place in the U.S., I had to make a living. So I found that advertising a van and a guide um, might be lucrative. So I started posting on Craigslist, and I would move like a couple of items here and there, and it allowed me the flexibility as a student to be able to go to school and also make a living on the side.
Okay. Yeah, I find it interesting. So majority of owners that I talk to, they all either fall in by accident or they're like second, third, fourth, etc. generation movers. It's like one or the other. There's generally not too much in between.
I went to school to be to work in law enforcement, and I did work as a cop in Chicago for almost a year, and then I decided to stick with the moving industry with the company.
That's interesting. Law enforcement versus enforcing moving law, so to speak. That is interesting. You don't hear that every day. Now, what do you do that you feel now that's different from your competitors that allowed you to go obviously from a van and a Craigslist advertisement to running 30 trucks and all in a little bit over 10 years, which is not a long time. So yeah, you must be doing something right. And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Well, we're learning every day. We could definitely do a lot better. Has a lot to do with the people that we have. We're always striving to be better today than we were yesterday. Chicago as a market is extremely competitive. I think again we're taking one client at a time. We have strong management and leadership foundation, and we have people in our offices and in the field that care about what we do. It's a daily struggle, daily battle. But overall, we're one of the preferred moving companies in the city of Chicago, and I think in a couple of years we'll definitely dominate completely the market.
Well, that's great. That's a great goal to have, obviously, and obviously you're on your way to that goal. So that's great. I mean, I think it's important to care. I'm always a big proponent of talking about building a brand. So if you're the brand that's trusted by the Tri-City area or local area, then you're doing something right. So I think at the end of the day, we do need to care about people and care about workers and whatnot in order to be a successful business, any business for that matter, but moving especially because we're not just there to earn money, we're there to move people's lives. And if we're making their lives better today, to that extent or less complicated today than they were yesterday, then that's a good thing. And it's something that people remember. And that's something that certainly allows us to grow. On top of that, is that something that you're doing that's different, that's unique?
I would say definitely my leadership style is different than my competitors. I'm a stickler for rules and policies. I don't give any room to my employees to do whatever they want. I try. I do know for a fact that we're one of the few companies in the Chicago area that has all W-2s employees instead of 1099s and cash and other things. So that sets us apart. I have high standards because unlike other moving owners that come from the sales department or I come from the truck. I know what it takes to get a job done. I know what it takes to park a truck. I know what it takes to wrap and disassemble. So I know the operation aspect of things. And I have high standards when it comes to what we should deliver. And I ask every worker and every person that has our T-shirt and our brand to always give their best to our customers. And I think that's what sets us apart. Because there are a lot of moving companies out there. I mean,
Sure.
again, in our market, 400, over 400 in the Chicago market. Our customers have plenty of options. So we'll always try to be transparent from the beginning in terms of what we charge. It's a requirement in the city of Chicago and in Illinois to have a tariff, to file a tariff where you publish your rates and how much you're going to charge. But it's hard in our industry, and this is where we have to educate our customers to understand that we can afford giving the volume to go and give an in-house estimate all the time. So we do it using technology. We're doing it over the phone. We're doing it when the customers are giving us a list of inventory.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
And we try to do our best, and despite that, sometimes there are some discrepancies. And again,
Well,
one client.
we're dealing with live people, and we're dealing with live people. There's going to be situations where people think that if they don't tell us everything, that they're going to pay less, or otherwise, there's always going to be something going on with that. Obviously, me being on the phone and me being talking to the customers, I see that all the time, and we are definitely sticklers when it comes to making sure we get as accurate of an inventory as we can, because obviously our quote depends on it and our accuracy depends on it. And at the end of the day, the customer's well-being and how they feel about the company depends on it.
Yeah.
So that is very important. I agree, and I think that you can be flexible in certain things, but on the other thing, it's all about building an organization from ground up. Certain rules are not bendable, and certain things need to be the same for everybody. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be if you waver on something, it may come back to bite you. So it's better to stick. I agree that you need to stick to the rules.
I always use this example when it comes to describing a company and the way you run a company. You have the matters of the mind or system processes,
Sure.
procedures, SOPs, metrics, and that's analytical. Those are things of the mind. And then you have the matters of the heart, which is the culture, right? So I'm sure you heard the saying that culture eats strategy for breakfast, right?
Mhm.
I think at the end of the day, especially if you're the leader of an organization, your values and what you stand for will be carried by the people that you have and you work with. So it's our responsibility as leaders of our organization to carry and enforce and train our people to understand what we stand for, what's the mission, what's the vision, and what are the core values and what drives our company. And you have to do that consistently on a daily basis.
Right. I agree. I think it starts at the top, and that's part of the one of the reasons why I'm still on the phone too. Even though I am the owner of Moving Sales Professionals, I'm still on the phone. I'm still talking to customers. I'm still dealing with the same objections that my sales reps are dealing with. So I can come and I can say, look, I can do this, this, and this. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do the same because we're all faced with the same obstacles. We're all faced with the same challenges. And at the end of the day, if you can come up and you can show your people how to handle it the right way, you hope, well, obviously you hope it doesn't always happen this way, but you hope that they follow your lead.
And it's up to you, again, as the leader of the organization, to identify the elements, the individual that are not coming your way. It's very important to identify the individuals, the bad apples early on. I have a very simplistic analysis of things when it comes to the people working for me. I always say there are three reasons why they don't do what you ask them, what they don't fulfill your expectations.
Hmm.
Number one, I don't think they were trained properly. So you can always go back to the training board and identify a process, the list of tasks they have for that person, and go back one by one and see what they missed, and they can become better at it, right? So that's number one. Number
Sure.
two, sometimes the advantages, the personality of the person doesn't match the task. So you can always give them something else to do. If they have the right base, the right temperament, they're hardworking, right? They show up on time, they're always attentive. You can build on those values, those qualities. So you just shift them in a different position, different direction, different department, and they can be a team player. The last category that I find, and again, a simplistic way of looking at things, is when people don't care. Now, the first two I can fix by going back to the drawing board. The third one, you can. That's just the individual doesn't have it. And that's something that mommy and daddy was supposed to teach you, or the school that
Right.
you went to.
Sometimes it's just not about, well, like you were saying about being ma matched to a specific job or specific task, right? And being in business as long as I have at this point too, what I've run into and one of my biggest frustrations was when you get somebody that has all the skill in the world and doesn't apply it. And I can't teach them to apply something that they don't have the drive to apply. They have the skill, it's there. They're just not applying it. And it's always that's the part that's very difficult when you see potential and when you see talent and the individual is just not using it to their advantage.
It's almost like a psychological disease in our culture and society today. A lot of the workforce out there, it's that they don't apply themselves.
Yeah.
They want quick gains overnight without doing the work. It takes time to be good at something. It takes time, and it takes time to build something of value.
And it's rinse and repeat over and over and over until you either you are able to take advantage of what you have in your hand, or you're finally able to uh, transition maybe to a different way of doing the same thing. But sometimes, like for example, what I do every single day, if you listen to me pitch a customer, it's almost in terms of words and things that I'm saying, it's almost identical every single time, right? The
Yeah.
difference is very minimal from one call to another. Yeah, you're making adjustments from customer to customer. Sometimes it's a smaller move, sometimes it's a bigger move. Sometimes they have the money, sometimes they don't have the money, right? You make those adjustments. But the once you've built a conveyor like Henry Ford once upon a time, once you build it and you know that it works, you need to follow the trend. You need to follow the process. Because once you start, if the process is working, there's no need to change it. If there are things that start not working in the process, then you can make adjustments, right? But at the end of the day, if the process is there and it already works, just follow it and you're going to get there.
Yeah, completely agree. So to sum up and conclude what I was saying, it matters as leadership, as the person in charge of the organization, to identify the individuals who don't share in the common values that the organization has. Identify them, and you have to make the tough decisions and let those people go.
Yeah,
Everybody has.
sometimes, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think one of the biggest things that we have is that as owners, we also grow attached to people. And as owners, we feel that we are responsible for the people that we've trained, right? But we also need to recognize when the problem is bigger than that, and we need to recognize when it's okay to let people go. And at times, you have to sometimes you wait too long to do it, and I think that's a mistake that every owner has made. it's hard to look at somebody that you feel has done everything you ask them, but something is just not clicking. It's hard to look at somebody like that and let them go. And then at that point, mind, you need to turn off. It's not, at that point, it's not personal. At that point, you're trying to run a business, and you need to be able
Yeah,
to realize that that's where you are and that's the decision that you have to make. And it's a hard decision. I hate firing people. That's my least favorite thing to do ever. I hate letting people go, but sometimes you just have to. You have no other choice because you've given it's like that joke that people say, like a man, there's a flood and a man is living in the house and he prays to God, says, God help me, please. Right. And the man comes riding in the Jeep and he says to him, you know, um, I'm going in the direction of the big city. Do you want to come? No, no, God is gonna help me. And then more time comes and more rain and more water. Now, like his house is almost half underneath water. And then he's praying to God to come and help him. And the boat comes. And the jump says, hey, I'm going in that direction. Do you want to come? No, God will help me. And at the end, the whole house is underwater. He's on the roof and he's like, God, why didn't you help me? And God says, well, how many more hints do you need? I already sent you two guys, so
yeah,
sometimes you have to realize that it's like there's only so much help you can offer a person if they're not willing to take advantage of the help and if they're not willing to do what you're doing them because essentially you're basically saying hint hint I don't want to fire you, but you got to do this. And if you're not going to do this, you're going to force me to do so.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, it's a challenge. But if you're not comfortable doing it, you shouldn't be the person in charge. It's part of the responsibility.
It is.
So,
It is. It's like it's not. I mean, I don't know that it's necessarily comfortable. It's just, it's just something that you have to do as an owner, like it or not.
I'm also a big believer that the growth and the direction of the organization has a lot to do with the mindset of the leader. I do believe that the biggest obstacle that we have, you're almost like a gatekeeper. The
Yeah.
more open-minded and the more you are willing to learn, the faster your organization is going to grow and become, again, a larger organization by allowing people that probably you're not comfortable in the beginning to work with. So if you're small-minded, and I speak strictly from my own experience, the more I open my mind towards growth and new elements, new ways of thinking, the faster the company grows.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you gotta try new things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but at the end of the day, whether they work or not, you're still learning in the process. And
or
you're going to
not,
be able to apply it somewhere else.
yeah, or not.
Or
Because
not.
that's the one that I always try to remember.
Hmm.
We always focus on what to learn and we forget what not to learn, right? So
Right.
as much as you focus your attention on getting new information, there's a lot of mistakes that we're making and we should learn from them and making sure that and
Right.
pay attention to what our
Well,
peers in the industry are doing and
of
try not
course. And what I always say too is that, and for the unfortunate part as people, we tend to learn more from our own mistakes than we do from somebody else's. No matter how much we try to learn from other people's mistakes sometimes, I think it's those hard lessons that we go through ourselves. They're the ones that tend to stick harder and you learn more from. Because you can see somebody's situation, but if you haven't lived through it, it's going to be hard for you to take as much. I always had great respect for people that have the capability to learn from other people's mistakes. I don't know if I necessarily fit that profile. I've certainly made plenty of mistakes myself. I would like to think that I've learned from them.
yeah,
Some I
or
didn't.
being alive. As long as we live, the game of life has a lot of a lot of rules that we're discovering as we get older and older. Um,
Yeah, that's for sure. But of course, we can talk about this stuff over and over again. At the end of the day, it is about building, it is about growth. It is about learning new things or not, or learning what not to do, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah,
moving and making sure that we can continue working on making whatever it is that we do better every day. That today is better than yesterday, and whatever it may be, by fact that we're doing more work, or by fact that we're providing better service, or by simply doing something better than we did yesterday, right? And I think that that's the goal that we all have. And of course, but Daniel and I can talk about that a lot, but I don't want to bore you guys. So I want to make sure that you come back and join us again. So, Daniel, once again, thank you very much for joining me today. And like
Thank
I
you so
always
much, Yuri.
say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk again soon.